Howdy, my name is Bboy Jin from JiVe Turkeys, uh, co-founder of Super Crew with IQ, uh, back as a joke, um, and shortly represented um, Zulu Kings before I was kicked out. I'm from Dallas, Texas, Dallas-ish. Dyzee asked me what I called the style, but I did not have a particular name for the style, but names for the certain moves like Cool Move 2, Bird Perch, and Flagpole Sit. I have been calling it press style, but I have heard it called other things like hand stepping, strong style, like from the Koreans they called it that, although it was uh kind of could be like a broad thing, like you could include cats like Physics, Cujo, Eric, and Caesar, but they're not really so big on presses. Circus style, I've been calling the style circus style, which I have been referring to a lot. Although there are a lot of other aspects of circus style, like stuff like Thosh, Stilo from Sour Patch Kids, Homework, and Paranoid Android. The stuff they do kind of while they're like sitting down, kind of playing and threading with their feet. And I've also heard it called transfer style, which I'd never actually heard. That one is something someone got to shine a light on for me because that one is new to me. Okay, so the first question. I have a lot to say about when and where and hows, but I will start with the basics. The press is a move originating in gymnastics and acrobats. It is when you have your hands between your legs and hold yourself up. When you have your arms straightened. There are also variations with your hands outside of your legs, holding yourself up. So your hands are outside your legs, or even like one outside and one inside. So kind of like this, like that. It is kind of a good move to use for transitions, for coffee grinders, threads, and other aspects of circus style like Thosh and homework style. It was also a good move to transfer to a planche or or a handstand. You kind of just scoop through, which would be natural for us b-boys to utilize because acrobats have been doing that kind of stuff for forever. A good variation of the inside press, which can honestly credit as a b-boy invention, is the spider freeze. So the spider freeze is basically, like an inside press, but your legs are pretty much over your shoulders. I do not know who invented that one. Uh, you would have to ask an old school b-boy. I asked Pluto, but he hasn't responded to me yet. So that move is old. That move is old. That's been around for forever. It probably even preceded b-boy, but I had to ask some of the old school b-boys about that one. And then there are powerheads who would utilize the various press position and spin around in circles that way. But they would have their legs straight and their arms kind of like real straightened out. I remember one where he would spin using the inside press variation and then stop and then walk forward like that. And then he would throw himself back and then just like land and just cup his head in his hands like this, just like it was pretty cool. But I don't remember where I seen it, but people been doing that stuff for forever. I can't remember where, dude. Like I'm pretty sure I was seeing that type of stuff back in like 95, 97. I wasn't really doing that stuff back then, but I probably started doing it like around 98, 99, like when I saw that footage from 95, 97. It could have been like the 2-on-2 battles from the West Coast called Best of the Best where I saw that. But yeah, that footage was cool. I remember like J Rock and Crumbs were going off, and Spider Man or whatever what they call him, Spidey from Soul Control, they were going off. There were also these two like young guys. Like I don't remember. They got to like pretty far to the finals, and I don't know who they were, but they were pretty raw. One wore glasses too. Like on the cools, I made the second half of cool move where I kind of swing one leg under me and then drop it back in front, back into the press position. kind of like a suspended coffee grinder. um, I invented that, but the first part I needed a filler, so I decided why not just walk sideways in a press position as the first part. So I'd had like a press, the inside outside press, like this, and then the first time I did it, my crew, they bugged the fuck out. But that was the first part of the cool move. I might have to give credit to B-Boy Benzo when he did a sideways walk in an outside press position, so like this, on top of an edge of a wall in some battle in Korea. And I will say that I seen this one guy from, uh, you know, like that was just like incredible, like what Benzo did, you know. And I will also say that I seen this one guy from 1998 Scribble Jam video who did this move where he had his hands in an outward press and he kept alternating, you know, one at a time like this. And that was amazing. That was like so ahead of its time. That was like 1998. I would say those people would probably opened a whole new world to the press style. And I remember Spidey from Soul Control was really good at like doing like spider presses and walks like that. And oh, and even like Plastic Man, he would do like a whole bunch of Lotus stuff. So naturally, he like he'd do a press and with his like legs kind of in a Lotus position, and then go back and forth like that, swing like that. Spider Man from Junkworks, he was like they're like he was already doing kind of stuff like that too. You know, I was more known for like stacking freezes and presses and hand stepping freezes and stacking freezes from and into hand stepping, or as I call it, flagpole sitting. Shit like cool move and other cool move variations. That's what I was kind of known for, like just like walking presses and transferring into presses like in different ways. Uh, Second question. I honestly will say when I came up with my moves, they were homegrown. For example, flagpole sitting, I came up with because I was inspired by images of people from the 1920s, of people literally sitting on top of flagpoles, and they were sitting there for a while. I don't know why they did it, but the image stuck with me. And also, there were people in Kung Fu, they would do the monkey staff routines where people would wrap their legs around, the staff. And they were only supported by the staff holding them up. I kind of put the two together and came up with the flagpole pose, which would later be a kind of, it'll be kind of like a major influence to the whole transfer style or circus style movement. I did this move in the later fall or early spring of either 1998 or 1999. Um, I would have to check with my old crewmate Lee when I was in his crew Shaolin Squad because I showed him days before this battle in Houston when we lost to Chris's old dance troupe. You might know him from Vicious Germs, but his old dance group was a Fly Company, which still exists, and I think he's the leader of now. But he's still in Vicious. I don't know if he's still in Vicious Germs or not, but we lost to them in the first round. So I don't know when that was, but I remember that was like really late 90s. So whatever year that was is most likely the year I created the move. And the first people outside Sean Squad that see me do it were Luis and Nightcrawler from UNB and Blitz, Dyzee, and Bo from Alien Squad. I think my buddy Astromat from Corpus Christi was there, and I did it at the Bronco Bowl just a month before Freestyle Session 99. And, you know, which I kind of surprised everyone when I did it because, like, I was always doing, like, like planches and shitty hollow packs. I was obsessed with them, and, like, I think, like, when I saw, like, the positive attention it got, I just started developing it more. And, and the thing is, like years later, I talked to Primate from Sent from Above about it, about like like the flagpole sit, because actually he's been doing it for a while too, and he had developed flagpole sitting independently on his own, and he's from San Diego or L.A. And what trips me out is I could actually kind of verify that, but I didn't see Primate do it. I saw Bo do it back in Freestyle Session '99, which happened in November, and the footage didn't come out until summer of 2000, and no one was supposed to bring footage in the freestyle sessions back then. Like I remember Bao and Chase were the first ones to do it. Chase from Soul Control, who was entered with Rhythm Bugs, you know, and they were doing hand stepping moves as well. They only did like one. Bao got eliminated off the first round, but I think Chase did it like somewhere around the middle or the end of the jam, where he was doing some rocks, and then like he like just like going like he would use the same foot, like say the right foot, and then put it right here on his right hand like that or something. And I was like, it took a while for it to snap, and I was like, what the fuck, you know? And we weren't supposed to bring footage, so I don't know, like they probably uh did it on their own, and you know it's just crazy. Like people got inspired and just like started developing it on their own. But I know that there were people that did bite, you know. So like like when I did some, because I did like certain moves that were completely different, and then all of a sudden I saw like a variation of the move outside. But I won't say who really did or who didn't. Um, you know, I remember Quality seeing me do it. I think it was like he first saw me do the bird perch and flagpole sitting, and he actually had footage of it either in December of '99 or early January of 2000. This was around the time Quality was living in Vegas. And I called him every now and then because I was supposed to go out to Concrete Soul out in Vegas for winning a culture shock battle in Oklahoma City. And plus, I admired the guy, and I worshipped his crew, Style Elements. So I wanted to, like he would tell me all types of stuff. He told me about like the one-handed flare, but I haven't seen that shit yet. And like I never made it to Concrete Soul because he bought tickets to San Antonio, but I'm from fucking Dallas. So I didn't find a ride to go to San Antonio. So that sucked ass. Oh, another weird thing is I seen this guy Emmanuel from Alien Squad San Antonio do a literal stepping on his hand move, which very much looks similar to the flagpole sitting, but I was like little higher on my forearm, and so he was actually resting on his hand. He did that at Smelly Sneakers, and so that was like somewhere in 2000. I think that was the spring of 2000. And yeah, that guy was amazing. Like he had like a lot of power, a lot of style, you know. Like he was stepping on his hand, and he just did it shortly. But I don't think he didn't really emphasize on it. Also, out of nowhere in the summer or spring 2000, I saw Roland from Mighty Four website. I think he was with Headhunters at the time, do the flagpole sitting, but he was doing it on his fist. So he would rest his hands right here, but his fist was leverage, so he was doing it on his fist. Now I won't be petty, but I will say some people, they made the move independently, and I believe them. And the ones that did bite, I won't exactly say names because I like and or got mad love and or respect some of these guys. You know, uh, I will say some of them took the style to the next level. You know, I will say that. But the thing about it was this became kind of like an arms race to see who could do the flagpole sitting into different freezes. Like I was the first to do it in and out of an air baby and go from a pike to an inward one, you know, one hand press, you know. But that's stuff that acrobats been doing. Or I did like also a rollback spike and then circle around one-footed flagpole sit. Like so I'd have like my left leg on my right leg like this, but I did it like from a pike and I kind of circled around like that, and then I went into it, which was like really hard to do. I was pretty inconsistent, And I remember I did that move too because Juan and Miguel, Juan from Dance Rooms and Miguel from my crew, they were trying to do this concept for like an air baby, rollback air baby. So that's where the concept kind of came from. People started to get creative with like this whole, like press style and like flagpole sitting and well, I don't know, transfer styles or whatever you guys call it. Like that grimace cat, Roland, this cat from the Bay named Lee. I think he was from Bam Tribe or something. Bham. Ben, Dyzee, and Ronnie utilize it in their flow. I even remember KHZ had a cat named Danny, and he did this one hand press with one leg stretched out already, and the other one he slowly stretched out with his other hand like this. And Danny was also the first to do like the freeze. What was it? He was the first one to do like the one where like say his like right leg was on the back of his right arm like this, and then he would put his leg like behind his back and it freeze like that. He was the first one to do that from what I've seen. And like, cause like I remember I was trying to do like different variations of which leg would touch my arm, but he was like the first one to do that. Uh, he was from Knuckleheads, and you know, and yeah, like I remember Alex from Alien Squad, like rest in peace. Did an air baby with the opposite foot squished between his elbow, and his support knee. So an air baby. So he'd have his right knee right here, but instead of just directly touching his right knee, he would have his left foot like kind of tucked in between his right knee and his right arm. And also the thing is like Exuberant. He wasn't very big on press styles, but he did a crow freeze where we'd actually have like his right foot on his right hand like this or whatever, his foot, and then he would do a crow freeze like that. So that was kind of a proof concept that he's done stuff where his feet would touch his arms, but he wasn't big on press style. He didn't really do that kind of stuff really until I think I heard him do it like later. you know all right, question number 3. uh I kind of already mentioned the who and what. Basically it's kung fu that helped me create the thing. Just watching kung fu and then just imitating it. An extinct 1920s pastime, which is flagpole sitting. Gymnastics, acrobats, particularly circus soleil, or however you pronounce it. And there's also the drive to make something your own, like coming up with a way to go like from a handstand and falling into an outside inside press, like I did back in some random YA jam in Houston, I think. One of the cleanest variations I've seen of that, though, is Atom Bomb, who did it completely different from me. So he would do a hollow back like this, and then he'd launch himself forward, and then he landed either in like a front inside press like this. So from a hollow back, like launch himself forward. Instead of landing on his ass, he landed in a press. It was either an inside press like this or an outside press like this. I don't remember. And I think even before that, like a variation of that was Byron from Knuckleheads. He would do like a suspended baby freeze like this, or a crab freeze, and then he would throw himself up, and then he would land in an outside press like that, and then and then he would just like transfer to like one hand like this, and then just like point. That shit was sick. So those were like some pretty cool variations I seen, stuff like that. Question number 4. The purpose of the press style was kind of to give variety. It was supposed to give variety into the battle. My crew was pretty diverse in style, so it was pretty natural to be like the oddball to go out and do some alien shit. The strength was, the strength of the style was this good, unique way to transition into freezes, and it was sometimes flowed into footwork or threads. The weakness of it is, the nuances can't really be seen. Sometimes they'd be missed because you're so low to the ground, and it was like probably better to do it on stage or in a manner in which everybody could see. Also, this style was kind of falling out of favor. Like it's kind of falling out of favor right now. For more motion, moves more centered around like air flares and tap mills. That's the stuff that's kind of coming in now. And stacks have been focused on, but stacks are more focused now on pikes, elbow pikes, and air chairs. And people would like literally just go like boop 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 shoulder, like stuff like that. Uh, the press style like complements flares and some footwork and planches. Uh, whereas like some of these pike moves, they do kind of flow, but it's like not really a move everybody's doing right now with like all these press stuff. Also, another downside to like flagpole sitting is that when your arms get sweaty and you have to rely mostly on those kind of moves, and I have to put my foot right here and then it will slip right off because my hands so sweaty, my arms sweaty, mom's spaghetti. Yeah, so that would happen. And then like I it was hard to do kind of with like a long sleeve shirt because like your legs would kind of like drag your shirt down, so you really couldn't like be like so I don't know. You can execute it perfectly if you wore a long sleeve shirt. Sometimes. The b-boys that come to mind. This is question 5. The b-boys that come to mind for me are okay. It's me, obviously. Roland, Grimace, Lee, Ronnie, Ben, Wes from Full Force, Paranoid Android to some extent, Thosh to some extent, Byron, Danny, Dyzee, even Robzilla. Like I would even say Benji from France, and Plastic Man. I would even give credit to Plastic Man, even though he did mostly his shtick was like you know uh, Lotus Reasons, and I remember he was probably like one of the first ones that I seen to do Air Babies. I say we push the boundaries for the style. Also, I seen some Russians do some sick shit with it just recently, so you know, it's crazy, you know. Uh, the foundation that I learned. This is question 6. Okay, so how I practice a lot of the stuff was you do an outside press, then tuck your legs in this way and go into a pseudo press, or or a planche, or no, I'm sorry, it's a pseudo planche or a planche, or go into a handstand or hollow back, and then you transfer back into the original outside press position. So this is with your hands out your body. You tuck your legs in and go up like this, and then you go back into it like that, into that outside press. Just tuck your legs right back in. um. All right. The other one is you do an inside press, and then you go into a pseudo planche, or go into a handstand, and then you could either go back into the inside press, or you could tuck your legs in between your arms that's suspending you. So so you inside press, handstand, and then go to an outside press. And you could practice that in various ways. You could practice it with one leg in between your leg. One leg in between your hands and one leg outside. You could transfer them. You know, and other. Oh yeah, when you practice it, you could either practice it slow, or you could practice snapping into those positions. So obviously, when you're stacking, you know, for effect, you just snap into a freeze. Yeah, so like you could practice snapping into different freezes, just from the press. And then the other part you could do is, I guess that guy, you know, the guy that did the 1998 Scribble Jam against Phase 2, where he switches his hands inside out. You could do that, but I wouldn't do that in a battle because that's not your move. You know, I need to find out the name of that guy because that guy is a genius. And I'd say you will need good flexibility in your core. And obviously I'm fat now. I smoke. I really can't do that shit no more. And the further you could get your nose to touch your knees, the better. Like practice doing these things using your thumbs as support, like kind of like a tripod. and also practice them doing them flat on your palms, and then like kind of just get used to like how you want to use your thumbs or your flat palms for leverage, and when you're doing kind of like some moves like for the set. And yeah, man, like question number 7, any secrets about the press? I don't know this. I just pretty much just all spilled it all out there, and I'm not gonna be like negative about it. Like, I'm done, like, being like an innovator or whatever. For right now, I'm just a fat ass. I wish I was better, like, yeah, just I think it was kind of a death of me. I was just too proud of, just owning the style or whatever. But time goes on, uh like there's really no secrets that I could really like say without, just like, I'd have to talk to people personally and how I feel about it. I'm not gonna just put out all the stuff like out there like that. But I did show you just from my heart how I feel about all that. Like, how I always get jealous whenever I see people do my moves or whatever, or how I felt was my moves, or when people would set up one of my freezes better than me. I get so jealous, you know. Like that was the thing, you know. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys later.